Hi, welcome to Cargo Film Presents. My name is Dave.
And I'm Dan. So, is social media checkmate for humanity, or is it not? The next film we're going to be talking about is The Social Dilemma, which is a 2020 docudrama directed by Jeff Orlowski. He did Chasing Ice and Chasing Coral, and he's now exploring the rise of social media, the damage it has caused to society and democracies around the world. And the film focuses on the tech designers and engineers who created platforms and apps who are now raising the alarm about their creations.
I was the co-inventor of the Facebook like button.
I was the president of Pinterest,
Google,
Twitter, Instagram.
There were meaningful changes happening around the world because of these platforms. I think we were naive about the flip side of that coin.
Who explained that they didn't realize at the time they were building these weapons of mass distraction and manipulation, and are now telling us that we're in big trouble. This was the #1 movie on Netflix this week, which was surprising because it's it's a documentary, and it beat out all the other films on there, not just
That's amazing.
movies. So I think that's the first time ever that a documentary's been there, like new top 10 feature.
Yeah, that's remarkable. I did not know that. First of all, so I say social dilemma, but that's me. And I'm surprised Jeff Orlowski didn't call this chasing social media. But sorry. No, I'm making fun, but it tackles the dangers of fake news and how these tech companies manipulate people with all kinds of tricks, notifications, and so on. And they portray these tech folks as these sinister beings designing algorithms to keep you glued to their screen. It's dark, it's depressing, it makes you never want to look at a screen again. But and certainly some of the ex-tech people that they interview in the film look utterly traumatized from having worked there and seen the inner workings of these tech companies. What's interesting about this film is how much scripted drama Jeff uses in the film. It's a documentary, but there is a substantial amount of time and money and effort put into telling this narrative drama of a family with children of different ages. In my view, it goes a little too far in some instances. For instance, there's a scene of when the family sits down at dinner and the mom puts the phones away in some kind of jar and they just sit there and have absolutely nothing to talk about. But aside from that, it is effective.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was looking at it to sort of see what's new here. I mean, we've obviously been hearing about the dangers of big tech, not only their financial and cultural clout and power, but the harmful effects of these products on our personal health, our mental health, and the health of our democracy. So I was looking for what's actually new that Jeff is bringing to this. And certainly we get the accounts from the insiders, the people who design these products, and that certainly brought something novel and new to the conversation. But as well, it was very interesting to learn about how they were essentially studying and targeting human psychology, trying to figure out what our sort of weaknesses are, to exploit and to manipulate by pointing, what they describe as sort of AI and supercomputers, directed at our brains, and essentially how that rendered us helpless, not to keep clicking and scrolling. So I thought that was, certainly a unique aspect, an insight that maybe we necessarily haven't seen before, is sort of persuasive tech. That's explained by one of the main characters in the film, Tristan Harris.
Right. Tristan is, or Tristan, right. I believe.
Tristan, that's right.
Yeah. It made me wonder how effort by the tech companies is any different from any other, marketing department of any company, that's ever existed. I thought that was an interesting line in the film, that the only users are often referred to people who do drugs and to people who are active on
That's right.
on social media or engage with tech. But I'm curious about your opinion on the use of the scripted scenes.
I did have mixed feelings about it. I felt like the tech designers were certainly making their points pretty strongly and pretty persuasively, through taking us through how these products were designed, and engineered, sort of relying on this kind of like slot machine psychology, essentially, designing these products to be highly addictive. And so when we sort of veered into the scripted part of it, which built to the son of the family, who essentially goes down a rabbit hole and gets radicalized and pulled into a political movement, and spoiler, gets arrested by the police. I found there was kind of an after school element to it, after school special element to it that I think, did take away from the points that the designers and engineers were making, and seemed in some ways to suggest, I know the film is meant to sort of inform us, but also maybe sway public opinion about these tech companies and warn us of these technologies. But at the same time, employing some of those same methods, perhaps, in the dramatization. So I think that, maybe slightly undermined the film itself. I mean, me personally, I would have loved to have seen more, maybe evidence or real world examples of, what the tech experts were talking about.
Right. No doubt. I felt the same way that, the filmmakers were taking a page out of the tech company's playbook here. By manipulating us with this fictional story to keep us watching, to keep us glued to the screen. It also makes me wonder whether, is what this means for the trends in documentary filmmaking, and whether this will influence people to, focus on trying to create this kind of side order of drama to accompany, actual documentary filmmaking. To make it, because the pressure of feeling like making it necessary to attract viewers, because this is what they will come to expect, and that's of course very difficult for a lot of documentary filmmakers to be able to do that. If they don't have the deep pockets of a Netflix to pay for those costs. Yeah, the best part of those, the scripted drama elements of the film are, for me, Vincent Kartheiser, who played Peter Campbell in Mad Men.
Right.
Had it been another actor,
right.
I might not have felt the same way.
He is perfect casting for a kind of sniveling, manipulative, artificial intelligence. You would go for Vincent Kartheiser. Would be your first call.
I guess that's how he's been typecast. It has been the number one film on Netflix. Not sure if that those scripted scenes have something to do with that success. Maybe it's the subject matter. Maybe it's the marketing that they've done behind the film that have vaulted it to the number one spot. But obviously, it's a subject that's very timely, that people are thinking about.
It's clearly loud, agenda-driven, documentary filmmaking that's targeted to generate a conversation around this. I mean, whether it oversimplifies the nature of technology and social media and misses some of the political, maybe historical context of technology and its relationship to culture and politics. I don't think it, I think it was, its goal was to really hit a broad audience, get a conversation going around these topics. So I think it certainly achieved that goal, considering it is, top of the charts for Netflix.
Yeah. And if it gives Vincent Kartheiser more work, I'm all for it. So I'm happy about that. It makes me think of our film Netizens. The film looks at three women whose lives were torn apart by online harassment, and how they fight back. The internet and social media and so on is still very much the Wild West. Unpoliced, a lot of misogyny, cyber stalking, and even as far as non-consensual pornography, which this film tackles. So I think the film is a good companion to this piece, to the social dilemma as a continuation of how the internet age is having us deal with challenges that in the digital world that we should be paying more attention to.
These are tweets threatening a convention that I was at.
This word legitimate threat, who is thinking about what is legitimate? If a company says we want to make this a safe space and a user says this is not feeling safe and the company comes back and says, oh, you're exaggerating, that's not good.
That's right. I think one of the parallels that Social Dilemma has with Netizens is that, the end of the film, essentially, the solutions to our social dilemma is regulation and a regulatory framework for social media, which was kind of ironic. You've got the architects of these social media products who are begging to be regulated is something you would never hear out of Silicon Valley. And Netizens, what that film is also sort of looking at and arguing is that how far the law lags behind technologies and social media, such that it is the Wild West, and there isn't much regulations on the books for non-consensual pornography, cyber stalking, cyberbullying. And so the film really takes a look at that area and says, what is going on? Why aren't we putting rules in place and regulations, laws on the books for this stuff, not only at an antitrust at a big level, but in everyday in people's everyday lives, and the way in which online behavior spills over into our daily lives.
So the film is available on transactional platforms like iTunes and Amazon and so on, but also available on HBO Max as of this month. So if you've got HBO Max, you can watch Netizens there. It's directed by filmmaker Cynthia Lowen. And we recommend it as a continuing of the discussion of the dangers of the modern day tech.
For Anita Sarkeesian, this is the new normal. Armed escorts at public events, bomb threats, even death threats.
So this is something that comes through the contact form on my website. These are tweets threatening a convention that I was at.
This word legitimate threat, who is thinking about what is legitimate? If a company says we want to make this a safe space and a user says this is not feeling safe and the company comes back and says, oh, you're exaggerating, that's not good.
I can't even go outside and show my face to the world anymore. I can't go to school, I can't go to work because somebody has already seen me in the way that I don't want to be seen.
Every time I give out my name, I know that I'm about to be judged, because I know eventually they're going to Google me and they're going to see what's there and then they're going to judge me.
They need to state their policy. They need to also inform the uploaders that they do not accept revenge porn.
We're having conversations about civil rights today that are long overdue, that mirror the conversations we're having about online spaces.
I'm Black and I'm a woman, and there's no reason why that should make me less able to speak my voice and able to be heard.
Women are losing out in every sense when it comes to the laws that we have to protect privacy, to protect against harassment.
New York doesn't have a revenge porn law because our politicians are doing nothing about it.
This was not what the First Amendment was about, and I'm willing to go in and try to fight anyone saying that it is.
Can we get a picture with you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, how do you know who I am?
you too.
Oh, cool. You watch my videos?
Yeah.
What I couldn't say is I'm angry. I'm angry that we live in a society where online harassment is tolerated, accepted, and excused. In all the different, messy, honest ways that we respond to harassment, we actually demonstrate how much humanity we all still have in the face of such cruelty and injustice.